As Yahweh had commanded him, Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahweh caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all the night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. And the Mithrim pursued and went in after them into the midst of the sea, all Paro's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it was in the morning watch that Yahweh looked forth upon the host of Mithraim through the pillar of fire and of cloud, and discomfited the host of Mithraim. And he turned aside the wheel of its chariots, and he made it to drive in heaviness, so that Mithraim said, Let us flee from the face of Israel, for Yahweh fighteth for them against Mithraim. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Stretch out thy hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon Mithraim, upon its chariots, and upon its horsemen. And Moshe stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its strength when the morning appeared, and the Mithrim fled against it, and Yahweh shook off the Mithrim in the midst of the sea. And the waters returned, and covered the chariots, and the horsemen, even all the host of Paro that went in after them into the sea. There remained not so much as one of them. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. Thus Yahweh saved Israel that day out of the hand of Mithraim, and Israel saw Mithraim dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw the great work which Yahweh did upon the Mithrim, and the people feared Yahweh, and they believed in Yahweh and in his servant Moshe. Shemot, Exodus chapter 15. Then sang Moshe and the children of Israel this song to Yahweh, and spoke, saying, I will sing to Yahweh, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. Yah is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. This is my God, and I will praise him, my father's God, and I will exalt him. Yahweh is a man of war, Yahweh is his name. Paro's chariots and his host hath he cast into the sea, and his chosen captains are sunk in the Red Sea. The deeps cover them, they went down into the depths like a stone. Thy right hand, O Yahweh, is glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Yahweh, dasheth in pieces the enemy. And in the greatness of thy excellency, thou overthrowest them that rise up against thee. Thou sendest forth thy wrath, it consumeth them as stubble. And with the blast of thy nostrils the waters were piled up. The floods stood upright as a heap. The deeps were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My soul shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them. They sank as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like thee, O Yahweh, among the gods? Who is like thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? Thou stretchedst out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them. Thou in thy loyal ardour hast led the people that thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength to thy holy habitation. The peoples have heard, they tremble. Pangs have taken hold on the inhabitants of Pulesheth. Then were the chiefs of Edom dismayed. The mighty men of Moab, trembling, taketh hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan are melted away. Terror and dread falleth upon them. By the greatness of thy arm, they are as still as a stone, till thy people pass over, O Yahweh, till the people pass over that thou hast purchased. Thou wilt bring them in, and plant them in the mountain of thy inheritance, thy place, O Yahweh, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in, the sanctuary, O Lord, which thy hands have established. Yahweh shall reign for ever and ever. For the horses of Paro went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea, and Yahweh brought back the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel walked on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dancers. And Miriam answered them, Sing ye to Yahweh, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. And Moshe led Israel onward from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days into the wilderness, and found no water. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah. And the people murmured against Moshe, saying, What shall we drink? And he cried to Yahweh, and Yahweh showed him a tree, and he cast it into the waters, and the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them. And he said, If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of Yahweh thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his eyes, and wilt give ear to his commands, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases upon thee, which I have put upon the Mithrim, for I am Yahweh that healeth thee. And they came to Elim, where were 12 springs of water, and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after their departing out of the land of Mithraim.